And we're away in this E 5,000 metres. As you note, it's a split start, and we'll pick up the runners as they come round on the outside. We have that group of South Melbourne runners, which were Murphy, Ross and Walterson. They're running the outside. We'll cut across once they come into the straight. Shane Draper on the inside. Now we have the South Melbourne runner running around the outside. So Aaron Murphy from South Melbourne, he had a good run the other night at the Milers Club, so he's in good shape and he's taking over the lead at this stage. Looks like the St Kevin's runner now is starting to move around the outside. We have Doncaster runner there in next place, which is Portwood, Johnson, Portwood, Gergius. Now the Richmond runner making a move is Jonathan Little round the outside. So he's now taking over the lead. So it's Jonathan Little now in front from Johnson. Gergius is now moving around the outside of the Doncaster runner, Portwood. And that's Matthew Blood from Ballarat YCW. Shane Draper, and then we have the Aaron Murphy as the early leaders now leading the second pack of runners. So as the lead group now starting to make their way around by the water jump. We have a leader now that's really broken clear. And that's our Richmond athlete, which is Jonathan Little. So Andrew Johnson still holds that second place with Gergius, then followed by Portwood. We have Blood in next place, and then followed them by Draper. That's Shane Draper from the Masters. Then Murphy is leading, although he's at the second group, but he's just going past him now is Stephen Quirk from the Masters. And then we have Nathan Crowley also just in behind Murphy. So we look like a change of leaders now, and moving quietly into the front there is Matthew Blood. Blood is running very well. Gergius is following him. He's running a very steady race there, and that lead pack has been really broken up there. So Little is still staying with them. A little gap has opened up there to the Doncaster runner in Portwood, and then a bigger gap then to Johnson, and he's running with Draper just sitting on his behind him. But that injection into the pace there by Matthew Blood has certainly broken that lead group up, and only Gergius seems to be able to go with him with 6 laps to go. So Blood, Gergius, and then Little, followed them by Portwood, Johnson and Draper. Now Murphy has regained the group over that 3, so it's Murphy, Quirk and Crowley. Matthew Blood put his mark on this race. Gergius is hanging on. We're going to get a 3K split in a moment. 9:52.05. 9:52.05 at 3K. And Matthew Blood is running very, very well. Gergius in next place. A gap then to our Richmond runner, the early leader there with Jonathan Little, and he's running there with Portwood. The gap then to Andrew Johnson, and then dropping off is Shane Draper a little bit. 13:18 through the 4K. 16:35 pace, and coming up the straight from Ballarat YCW, Matthew Blood. And Johnson has now closed a lot of that gap there with 2 laps to go. They're half a mile from finish. So Johnson, one of the early leaders, now working his way back now, making a serious challenge there. Bigger gap to Gergius, Portwood and Little. The race is now wide open. Past the water jump, Johnson sitting on the shoulder of Blood and goes past him, or does he? Yes, he does. So Andrew Johnson, he was an early leader in this race and now regained it at a critical stage with the bell lap coming up. So Johnson's made the move. He hasn't got a big break here. Blood is still in the race, so he's got to work pretty hard. Moving into third place now is Portwood. So Portwood is in third place. And Little in the Richmond colours is in next, followed by Gergius. Then a gap to Quirk. Murphy is now working his way past Draper. Now we'll stay with the leaders with 300 out and moving away now. Johnson is really putting the pressure on. He's opened up a little gap on Blood. Working pretty hard as Portwood in third place. Little in fourth. 200 to go, Johnson, but here comes Blood coming back at him. The two of them are going to battle this one out. So Blood has gone right past Johnson again. He's made a big spurt and he's really going for home now. The gap widening, past the water jump, coming towards the home turn. Great running here by Blood, who led for most of this race. And he's made a decisive move and he's well clear. He's going to take out this race. Great run, Matthew Blood from Ballarat YCW, pushing all the way home. Must have been a little breather there. Come home in 16:28 unofficial. Followed them by Andrew Johnson. Good run there by John Portwood from Doncaster. Coming home, one of the earlier leaders there in Jonathan Little of Richmond. And Gergius in the all red of the Old Scotch. Just moving up. Big finish here. Steve Quirk has made a good effort of really trying to close that gap. Probably needs another lap to finish it off. But he's finishing after Gergius and under 17 minutes. Good run there by Aaron Murphy, pushing it all the way to the line. And so is Draper. They're just a tick over 17 minutes for the two of them.